firm grip. So if someone were to come and rip the disc out of your hand, it wouldn't come out, but you don't want to be completely mashing on it where you're like warping the disc. So for all of my shots, let's say over, I don't know, 130 meters, I'm throwing a power grip. So that's 4 fingers tucked underneath the grip, and anything after that, it's kind of you want to, I'd say, keep it to one grip when you're learning, but there's other grips like a fan grip where your fingers are more fanned out under the rim, where I'd say your pointer finger and your pinky are the ones that are pushed up against the rim, and your middle and ring finger fanned out underneath the bottom. That's more for, let's say, a control shot. I want to go under a low ceiling or hit a small gap. But power grip, that's where you're going to get all your distance.
So you're talking about tucking all 4 fingers into the rim of the disc. Let's talk about the tips of your fingers or the pads of your fingers tucked into the rim. Nice firm grip, nothing too tight, but nothing too loose either where the disc can kind of fall out of your hand. You want to have control of this disc. A lot of things can happen, a lot of bad things can happen control-wise if you don't have a good grip of the disc. Another thing is with those 4 fingers underneath tucked in the rim, that thumb on top, very critical. You have 4 fingers on the bottom kind of pressing up and into the disc. You only have 1 thumb on top pressing down onto the disc. Kind of pressing down, good firm. A lot of things can happen if in the rain or moisture, you get any kind of moisture on top of the disc. This grip right here with the thumb is very critical for the fact that you have nothing to kind of hold on to with the thumb. You're pressing down into the disc. Be very conscious of your thumb pressure. So good grip with the fingers, thumb on top. Like he was saying, everybody has different sized hands. Everybody has different length fingers. How the disc fits in your hands will be slightly different for everybody. Take home message is, use a grip, find a grip, use a grip that works for you. Whatever produces a nice clean release, good rotation of the disc. You don't want to have it wobbling or fluttering. You just want to have a nice clean rotation, a nice clean, smooth release of the disc. That's what matters. How you do that doesn't really matter. We're showing you how we do it. Power grip is by far the best way to throw a driver. I also even switch up when I'm throwing mid-range of putters. I'll actually take my fingers and spread them out a little more along the bottom side of the flight plate. What that does, creates a balance to the disc in your hand. I feel on the deep dish putters and mid-ranges, if I tuck my fingers in a power grip, I don't feel very balanced. I want to have a nice balance of the disc in my hand. I'll spread the fingers out to a modified fan grip or control grip, as they call it. Just kind of feel that balance and keep the disc flat and flush. Grip, use what works for you. If you're having fluttering issues or it's wobbling, change it up, switch it up. Try to focus more on the front of your grip, the front 2 fingers here. Try to focus more of your grip toward the front as the disc rotates and pivots and releases from your hand. That's where you want to have the focus on the front of the disc, not so much to the back of the disc. I'm getting a little more advanced here, sorry, but I'm really trying to focus more of the grip toward the front of the disc, the rotation, the spin, the snap, the release. The last thing that comes with the grip, I see a lot of things are important. This one's pretty good. A lot of players I've seen have good form, good throwing form, throwing it out there really well, but some players might be struggling with keeping the disc flat. One simple way and simple solution to doing that is focusing on the wrist. Small little joint, doesn't have a lot of power, but what that wrist does, it's in charge of keeping the disc flat. If I put my arm out to the side of my body right now and kind of hold the disc out to the side, nice and comfortable, not doing anything special, you look at the disc, it's slightly nose up. Now that's most certainly not the way I want to throw the disc. If I throw it this way, it's going to go nose up, stall out, hyzer left. What I want to do to get this disc flat, kind of like Eagle was saying, get the disc in line with your forearm, taking that wrist and turning it all the way down. Turn it down as far as it can go. What that does, it puts the disc flat in line with your forearm, upper arm, and gets a nice flat pull line. That's what you're looking for. So we're talking about keeping things simple, nice firm grip, taking that wrist, turning it down, keeping this disc flat. That's how you're gonna get those low line, beeline, laser line shots. You don't want to have it go up, stall out, highs are out. You want to drive the fairway, carry the fairway, drive it down the field. The way you can penetrate a disc down the fairway is getting the nose down and driving it flat. Good firm grip, good tight grip, lock your wrist, keep it down. Any questions? Please. Good question. Great question, actually. So with the thumb, I'm trying to put the thumb right on this little ridge line here where the rim meets the flight plate. There's like a little line right there. You can kind of see it. Yeah, it's kind of a little hard, firm part right there. That provides resistance for my thumb when I'm pressing down into the disc. Now, a lot of discs might be softer or gummier. If you put your thumb too far inside there, a lot of times your thumb will sink in. That's not real comfortable for me, personally. I like to have it more on the rigid side of the disc. I don't want to have my thumb too far to the outside on that downslope, though. There's a big concern for the fact that if your thumb slips or slides on the downslope, you lose that grip and you lose the accuracy on that shot. I also don't have my thumb too far to the inside where it's kind of soft and kind of poppy a little bit. Plus, the farther my thumb is to the inside of the disc, I lose rotation, I lose spin, I lose distance. I want to put my thumb to the outside, have good rotation, good speed, good spin, but obviously good grip.
Stretched out or
so that's a personal thing as well. When I'm gripping to the disc, I'm actually pressing down my thumb directly, and I actually have the heel of my palm on my hand off the disc. Some players might have their whole hand on the disc. If that's comfortable for them, that's great. I actually have the heel of my hand off the disc. I like to keep the disc more on my fingertips. I feel I have a lot more control. I have a cleaner release out of my hand when I don't have that drag or that resistance. I do know players that do have the heel of the hand on the disc. Yours?
Mine's separated.
Do you have a space? Yep. I know a lot of players that do have that little space in between their hand and the disc and have the disc more tucked into their palm, knuckle area on the hand, fingertips, thumb on top, pressing down. I definitely push more direct down than I have kind of a flat grip. Good question, good question. So we're talking about backhand. It's obviously very involved. We're just talking about grip. That was just grip. We haven't even got to the throwing motion, but there's a lot of things to think about. Like I said at the beginning of this clinic, keep it simple. Don't make it more complex than it needs to be. You know how to hold the disc. You know how to hold the disc comfortably. Make sure it rotates and spins out of your hand nice and clean. That's all you're looking for. Keep that wrist down. Any nose up shots, you're not getting the distance you want down the fairway. Keep that wrist down, keep that nose down, drive the disc flat. Good deal. Next on, you're trying to throw the disc. You're trying to propel the disc. You get power on the disc, transferring the momentum and power from your body into the disc itself. That happens from the long lever called your arm. Right hand, left hand, doesn't matter. This is your arm. You're pulling through. It's a lever extension of your body to drive the disc down the fairway. That's the simple part of it all. 4 things you want to think about that'll make and break your drive on a backhand. 4 things. First off, holding this disc out to the side of my body, that disc is the same height. See it kind of the same height off the ground, same level off my body. This disc right here is this height to the ground. From this extension, this is my release point. I want to keep this disc at the same height all the way back and all the way through. I want to keep this disc at the same height the entire way. A little more exaggerated than I wanted, but this is where I want to keep the disc. I don't want this disc to change levels or change heights. I want to keep this disc at the same height, the same way back, same way through. That's going to get you a nice, flat, clean throwing motion. The reason I exaggerate that so much is because there's a lot of players that you might get, a little too casual or a little lazy with it, and you'll just kind of drop your arm or you'll drop it back. Keep this, if you drop it down here, the angle of the disc changed. A lot of times the angle of the disc changed on the release. But if I can consciously think about the height of the disc from the release to the pullback to the release, keeping it the same height the entire time, I'm going to be a lot more successful on the throw itself. Keep the same height. keeping it close to your body.
Keeping it close to your body. So as he's saying, you want to keep it level, but it's very important to keep it close to your body, because that's when you're going to get all the power. The closer you keep it to your body, the more explosiveness you will have. Because let's say you do something all loosey-goosey, you bring it out like that, it's going to look like that. That's not what you want. But if you're coming through on a linear motion, pulling straight back, nice and level, transferring the weight right to your body, that hit point is going to be so much more powerful than if you're out here. You're losing all weight transfer and momentum out here. Come straight through.
Nice easy toss. Nice easy toss.
Even do a run up
that
thing.
explosiveness. So much.
I can't throw that far.
I threw that about with the same amount of effort as that one shot right there. And that just shows how important it is.
So we talking about using your body for the power. This is your power point. This is your body. This is how you transfer power from your body to the disc itself. If you're too far away from your body with a throw, you lose a lot of power and accuracy out here. You're farther away from your body. You can almost you feel real disconnected. Your arm's out here trying to throw the shot all rounded out here with your arm. But I want to be a little tighter to the body and then drive this elbow. A lot more speed, a lot more power. Driving this elbow through and connecting on the shot. You saw right there, nice little easy casual throw and hit it. Some nice good speed and good power, keeping the disc close to your body, not out here. A little faster right here. Third point, and he hit on a perfect. Keep it in a straight line. If I'm trying to throw a straight shot, I'll keep this disc in a straight line. No other way about it. If I go too rounded out here or reach around my body, I'm not going to throw that straight shot. It's really hard to. But if this is my release point, A, I want to reach back to B. One straight line. Pull back, pull through, one straight line. If I'm throwing a straight shot here, I pull back exactly on that line. Like there's a string attached to the back of this disc. Pulling back, pulling through, keeping that nice straight line. I'm not going to reach back and then over-rotate getting off that line. It's really hard to get back on line and throw that straight shot. A lot of players have a tendency to, drop it or come over their shoulder or around their body. You're coming off that line. So the number one thing we said, same level, same height to the ground. 2, close to the body. You're right in here. And 3, straight line. Straight back, straight through. Those are the 3 things. If you remember those, you're going to be an excellent thrower of the disc. Keeping it flat, level, close to the body, one straight line. That's how you transfer the power, momentum, get speed, get the distance. A few things to think about. When I'm rotating back, I'm saying reach straight line. I'm kind of demonstrating that. When you saw Eagle throw that shot, you see him reach back, but you also see his body rotate, his torso rotate back. You want to get this left arm and left shoulder out of the equation. I don't want to have my left arm and shoulder in the way, plus I can only reach back this far. If I want to get the full extension, I want to get this left shoulder out of the way, rotate back, and really reach back. Get that nice extension, and then pull through the shot. Also, by rotating back, I'm loading my core. By loading your core, you're rotating back. You get a lot of power right here. Midsection here, you get a lot of power in your legs and your hips. You get a lot of power. Midsection here, by rotating through, you get that speed, that quickness, just by rotating your torso. Utilize that. Get your left hand off the disc, get your left arm out of the way, get your left shoulder out of the way, and rotate back, pull through, throw the shot. Almost act like you're a disc throwing machine. You're all calculated, flat, level, close to the body, straight line, back through. The more you do that, you'll get a muscle memory. You'll build into it how you want to throw the disc each and every time. You do it 100 times, you do it 1,000 times, you'll get it dialed in. Any questions on the arm swing? Good deal.
Sorry, Avery, I'll just jump in there quickly if I can. What we might do is, if some of the newer players, we might kind of get some rounds started. So if you guys want to play some disc golf, and maybe some of the more seasoned players, advanced players can stay and hear some more from the boys. Then you can come up here if you like.
Good deal.
Avery, can you tell us where your eyes are during the throw in relation to the target?
Good question.
Yeah, left.
Everybody's getting
You
ready
want
for the
some
round. Good deal. So, we got grip covered. We got arm swing covered. That's only these two little components right here. That's just your arm right now. Now we're going to build into it. We're going to talk about transferring the power out of your entire body. Now, I'm not just going to throw the disc with my hand or my arm. If I was to sit here and throw a shot with just my arm, I might throw it 20, 25, 30 meters maybe just by going like that. Not using my torso, not using my legs. I want to utilize the power out of my body to increase the distance. Use your entire body to throw the disc, not just your arm, and your torso and upper body, using the entire thing. Use your legs, your hips, torso, rotating, speed, power. When I set up to throw shots, I like to set up in a standstill throwing motion. And that's all I'm going to teach today, for the reason that throwing a standstill shot is the true essence of the backhand drop. It takes the legs out of the equation as far as the run-up. You're still going to use them for power and the weight shift, but you're taking the legs out of the equation as far as the footwork, the footwork. That complicates things. The footwork throws people off. And if you're not dialed into your technique, the footwork and the timing can really throw off your shot, and then you're focusing on the wrong things when you just want to focus on the simple things, the right things. The three things we talked about with the arm swing. Throwing a standstill shot. I'm going to put my feet shoulder width apart. Good balanced stance. I will get into the head and the eyes in a second. Nice balanced stance. What I'm doing is I'm going to be facing out this way. I'm throwing the shot this way. What I'm doing with this front foot, I want to have it pointing this way. I want to be able to rotate and turn into the shot. I'm not going to have my foot out this way. When I look at the feet, I'm trying to transfer power out of my lower body. When I'm faced in this direction, my feet in this direction here, my hips are closed. By saying that, my hips are closed, they're in a neutral position. I get a lot of tension and torque and power to my lower body. I want to utilize that for the throw. A big mistake a lot of players make, simple as rotating that front foot. If you rotate and swing your foot this way, what it does, it opens up your hips. They're open now. What it also does, it takes away the tension and the power. I feel real loose right now, as opposed to when I'm right here. When the feet are locked down 90 degrees on the front foot, I actually have a lot more torque and tension out of the lower body, and I can throw a lot harder. Once I swing my foot and my toes this way, I actually lose all that power out of the lower body. In essence, I lose distance. Simple thing, keep that front foot 90 degrees. Back foot, I like to tuck it back off the midline, the line right there. I like to go back here and go on my toe. By taking it off the line, I actually free up a lot more space to throw this shot here. If it's here, not too bad, but I feel like I'll, clip my body or hit my body if I'm pulling back through. If I tuck back, I free up a lot more space to work. Also, by going on your toe, I'm able to shift my weight. That's one thing we're going to talk about in the standstill shot. Utilizing your body to throw the shot without using a run-up is shifting back, shifting forward, shifting all your weight to the back foot, shifting all your weight to the front foot. By that little shift right there, and getting that timing right, that's all I'm getting the power to drive the disc. So locking down a good stance, a good standstill stance. I do realize a lot of players don't use a standstill that often, or at all. Like I said, there's the true essence of the backhand, but it's good to know all different stances, because you're not always in the most ideal situation to use a run-up to throw a shot in a wide open field. That's not always the case. Sometimes you're tucked back on the side here along some of these trees and bushes where you might have to straddle out, or you might have to get in a different position to deliver and throw the disc down the fairway or for an upshot. You're not always going to use a run-up. Good way to learn, using a standstill. I realize a lot of players don't do it all that often. and it might be a little different, a little new. It's good to have a run up. It's also good to have a standstill. If you want to be a good overall player, you want to be able to do both of those stances.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I'd recommend to any beginner, really, or someone trying to learn this X step, because as you're saying, it'll throw you off. So, if you're not confident in your drive, make the standstill your drive until you see results. When you start seeing shots that come off flat, good velocity, good speed, then you can talk about maybe incorporating an X step. But until then, keep it simple. The more simple your game is, the better you're going to perform. So, I mean, it's kind of your choice when to start learning that. But I know when I was trying to develop my game, I probably played standstill for, I don't know, a month or two. And it just taught me proper reach back. Like, when you're doing standstills, if you're just reaching back with your arm, you're not going to get much distance. So you'll figure out when you need to pull back more, what you need to do. It's just the easiest kind of stance to attack and learn what your game is from a simple viewpoint.
So what do you do on a standstill shot? How do you position yourself? What are you really trying to accomplish?
Well, now for standstill shots, I'm mostly just kind of throwing putter shots for up shots because it's easier to throw accurately. There's less steps. I'd probably throw a standstill shot for probably, I don't know, anything under 60 meters. But when I'm doing standstill, I have my feet, as Avery said, 90 degrees, on my toe in the back, straight out there. Let's say I'm trying to throw in line with that tree. I'm pulling back, point B, point A, right to it. So nice and smooth, good pullback, you got your arm extended, straight through. Straight through, see? It wasn't exactly on mine, but I can't be perfect, and no one can. But that's good. If I'm bringing an X step and I'm a beginner player, I can grip lock to right, grip out to left because I don't know what I'm doing. The standstill is just an easy way to fix problems.
You see how simple he made that look? Usually pros do make things look real simple and real easy, like he's done it, 10,000 times, 100,000 times, because he has, first off. But also, he's just going through the simple mechanics of reaching back and throwing that shot, pulling through. Keep it simple, make it simple. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. And really, you can get to this point by putting in a lot of work out in a nice field like this. And just go out there for hours and just throw shots. Throw shots, work on the body mechanics, work on the muscle memory, and just work on the simple things. All you do is pull it back, lock and load, and throw it. It really is that simple. Adding power, adding timing, adding accuracy, angles, that's when it starts getting more complex and a little more advanced. Pro level, but everybody can do this. Pull through, throw that shot, keep it that simple. Don't drop the arm, don't reach around your body, just straight back, straight through. If you can keep it that simple, in your mind, it can be that simple. It's not that hard. It's about doing it over and over and over again to dial that shot in. Now you asked the question about the visuals. What are you looking at? Where's your head in this whole process? When Eagle was looking down there, look down the fairway, he picked a point, a line. He kind of visualized his shot before he even threw the shot. That's a big thing in golf and in disc golf. See the shot before you throw it, before you hit it. Visualize that line. Try to match that line. Setting up, picking that line, reaching back, throwing that shot. Now, your head position is really going to vary to how hard you're throwing the shot. Say if he's throwing the shot half that distance, a third that distance, he might not take his eyes off the target and reach back and throw the shot. Farther shots, you might get a little more extension, a little more reach back if you're trying to get that power. And that distance, you might rotate your head back a little farther. A big thing I try to be aware of is that I don't turn all the way away from the target. If I turn too far away from the target, I take my entire visual perspective away from where I'm trying to throw a shot. I'm trying to throw it down here, but I'm looking over here. When I turn, I don't try to turn my head more than 90 degrees. So when I turn back, I'm gonna rotate back. I'm gonna be looking this way. I'm really trying to get chin to the shoulder, reach back, pull through. That's a good extension. And I'm still looking this way here. But I'm also able to see out of my peripheral vision all this down here, all this down here. I'm able to visualize that, not in detail. And I realize when you're throwing a shot, everything's happening so fast, there's no way I'm gonna see all this. But by turning this way, I can visualize and see my arm swing, the pull back, the pull through. I can also even see down here. I can see the tree line, I can see the fences, the grass. I can see all this. Like I said, not in detail, and I'm not gonna be focusing on it all the way because it's all happening split seconds. But I wanna be able to visualize and see all this, and I don't wanna go like this when everything's happening this way. I don't need all this. This extension, that's max right there. But if I do this, chin to the shoulder, I might lose 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters most. What that extra extension is gonna be if I turn all the way around, it might add more distance. It might. Am I gonna lose accuracy? Absolutely. I don't wanna turn all the way away from the target to throw that way, and I don't really need to. Back here, 90 degrees, chin to the shoulder, reach back, pull through the shot. One last thing I'm gonna talk about, footwork, stance, positioning. A lot of players ask, what do you rotate off of? Now when you're doing a standstill shot, you got a couple choices. You can either rotate off the ball of your foot, the front of your foot, or your heel. It doesn't matter. You just want to have good, clean rotation. You definitely want to have your foot rotate and spin. If this foot doesn't rotate and you're stepping over, you have a chance to kind of twist an ankle or a knee or hurt yourself in other ways. Good extension back, rotate through. When you're doing a run up and doing the whole motion with that, you want to rotate off your heel. We'll get into that after this set. But on these standstill shots, use a nice clean rotation off the front of your foot or the back of your foot, whatever has good clean rotation for yourself. Any questions? I try to cover it all, I try to hit it all, I try to remember it all. The last part of that throw is a follow through. Don't stop after you're done throwing the shot. Don't reach back, throw, and then stop. Let your body continue on with the throw. I try to relate it to golf. See a golfer, line up position, club back, club through. You never see them just stop once they make contact with the ball. They continue on, they carry through, they follow through in that same line. The club keeps on that same pendulum, keeps on that same line, that same plane. Same thing with a disc golf throw. Don't throw and then stop. Don't stop your body, don't stop your arm. Continue on. If I'm reaching back, pulling through, let that arm continue on through the follow through. Let it continue. You try to stop it, putting a lot of torque and tension on your body, your shoulder, your elbow. It's gonna take a lot of heat. You want to continue through with the shot. Keep it nice and smooth. You'll be a lot more accurate. You have a lot better control. Follow through with the shot. The legs, same thing. I don't want to stop here when I throw the shot. This back leg, I don't want to anchor it back here. I'm leaning back. I'm not getting the full momentum shift to the front leg if my back foot's here. I want to be able to shift my body weight and then take that step forward, ideally. Biggest thing is you just want to get this back foot off the ground. You're here and you throw that shot, your foot's off the ground, you shifted your body weight to the front foot because you're balancing on your front foot. I don't want to be back here and throwing the shot leaning back. What that does, it puts a lot of torque and tension on your knees, your hips, your lower back. It's not real comfortable standing in this position, just standing here right now. Yet if I had some power behind it, it'll hurt. You can get away with it for a little while, but the more you do that, over 100 shots, over 1,000 shots, you're gonna have some pains in those areas. Be smooth, be clean, make it look pretty. I say that all too often. Make the shot look pretty, make it look nice, make it look smooth. Continue through with the shot. The more and more you do it, it'll become habit. And just one thing, don't get discouraged. Your shots aren't gonna look like the ones we just throw. If you're throwing
straight, I don't know, maybe 30 meters. That's great. Make the shot look pretty. Don't get discouraged by distance. If your shots are looking clean, that's all that matters. Everyone's different. Everyone's gonna have different distance max outs, but just be okay with your distance at the time.
So we got a good amount of people here. Let's go 2 lines. Eagle, take a line. I'll take a line over here. Let's go through a few sets of just throwing shots. Me and Eagle are gonna watch you. We're gonna give you a little critique, a little breakdown, maybe a few things that we picked up, you know, watching and viewing your shots, and be open to it. A lot of players that have been playing for a little while, you might have some habits that you have really ingrained in your throw. That's what you've done, and that's what you've done for 5, 10, 15 years. That's what you've done. Try to be open-minded. Try to be like, I can maybe change this, or small little things, little tweaks that will make sense. And we'll try to find different ways to say and rephrase those things and be like, oh yeah, I am doing that. Okay, I didn't realize that. Because when you're throwing a shot, it's really hard to know what you're doing. You can't see it. Sometimes you might be able to feel it, but everything's happening so quick and there's 100 different things going on that's almost impossible to go, wow, I didn't know I had my arm back here, or I'm throwing under my arm, or I'm grabbing onto the disc with my left hand, you know, restricting my reach back. I didn't realize that. Be open-minded to it. We're going to try to give you the best critique and feedback. I've seen thousands upon thousands of throwers, so it's nothing new. Just make it look pretty, make it look smooth.
For the old fellas, what's coming to sprint?
A couple good stretches. Well, I'm joining the old fellas, so I'm getting up there myself. I want to be real loose. Obviously, core-wise, I want to be able to rotate my abs, my abdominals, keep it separated from my hips. Make sure you're nice and stretched out, you know, through rotational-wise. I'll do a lot of little, you know, oblique rotations, core rotations. I also want to make sure my shoulders are warmed up. There's your power.